Hello, my name is Dylan with the anime summary. At a warehouse, Ayano and her men are running into a building investigating a warehouse where tons of men have been killed. She sees a man in the open standing still and he opened fires on them. Her men snipe and bazooka the guy, taking him to the ground. After the fight, more police arrive, pinning the man to the ground. As he's being carried out, Ayano notices it's the guy from the park that ran past them. Later that night at dinner, Ayano arrives at dinner to greet Lympha. Ayano says the wine's on her for being late to the dinner. She cuts to the chase after chatter about the man she saw at the warehouse. Lympha says she'll consider asking the chief about it if she orders one more bottle for her. Before Lympha leaves in her limo, she's counting on her to relay the message. They wave each other goodbye, but before she takes off, Lympha asks how Shu is doing and it startles her to the ground, blushing. She takes off into the night in the limo. The next day at the park, Aino meets up with Shu and Kisara, showing him the photo that Kisara posted of her stalking her and the detective. He steps up and introduces himself as Mikami, known as the security of the Anti-Demon Bureau. He gets to the point about the guy last night being Tony, a member of the crime syndicate. He tells them that they seem to have borrowed powers of a demon, and the last time they were at the park, Aino saw him going by. Mikami shows Shu the person for more of a visual reference, and he recalls him running past the park the other day. He comes to the conclusion that the people who have been selling the pyramid schemes showing people how to contract with demons is more than likely the mastermind. Shu gets really mad for the fact that they were investigating the demons without him knowing that his family was killed by one. Mikami gets a phone call revealing that Tony has been killed. At the hospital, the police are taking photos of the corpse. Miles tells them when arriving that he was killed before he could gain reconsciousness. He shows Mikami the knife and informs him about the symbol on it to be a revenge plot of another mafia. A police officer intrudes and tells Miles that the mother of Tony is making a huge scene and he goes to deal with it. While Aino is leaving the cafe shop, Shu stops her and shows her a picture of the student Yoshido, the guy who tried assassinating the mayor. Shu rambles on, wondering if the pyramid scheme guy is the mastermind, and Aino ignores him and starts to walk off. She gets upset and tells Shu to go home, but he insists on them working together. Aino cries in tears about him forgetting everything that they've done together and runs away. Later that night, while it's raining, Aino is sitting under a bridge, upset about her encounter with Shu. Kisara approaches her in the rain and wants to know why she is angry. She tells her about the night she made an effort to surprise Shu on his birthday, having Shu's memories remain inside of her. At a food stand, Kisara spills the details, saying that a person can only make one contract with the demon but can sell memories piece by piece. She tells her that Shu's determined to get revenge on the demon who massacred his family, even resorting to giving up his memories to do so. Kisara demands to know the plans from robbing Shu's purpose. Aino plans to save Shu from danger and gets up telling Kisara that they will never see eye to eye and leaves. At the mafia location where police have surrounded them, Shu tells everyone to move out of the way and rides his bike at high speed into the base. Meanwhile, the demon is slaying all of the police and mafia forces inside. From the front, Shu fires multiple bullets, having the demon retreat further inside. The demon dances around Shu while he's firing more bullets and flees the scene. Meanwhile, Miles and Mikami discover from the mafia member that the demon is Mari, Tony's mother. When Aino is walking home, the demon tries slashing her, but Aino dodges quickly. Kisara steps in to defend her with her blade. Shu tells her through an earbud to stall for 3 minutes until he gets there. Kisara throws the gun to her and they both make it out towards the streets. From the mirrors, the demon slashes Aino, but she fires back and makes her escape into another mirror. Shu and the police have arrived at the scene. Back at the warehouse, the police and Akano are on standby there. Inside, Akano drops Aino a bag containing extra food and clothing. They go on a discussion about the mirror demon and Akano teases Aino about the argument she had with Shu. At dinner, while Shu is eating, Mikami tells him a story about an event 12 years ago. In the world's first mineshaft, there was a mysterious explosion in the mines. He tells him that the story is fictional, made by the city government. He goes on to say that what really happened on the day of the inspection of the mines, people living on the island were deemed demon hazards by the government, there being a sole survivor in that incident. Akano tells Aino about the story of Shu being the only survivor in the demon hazard mines. Akano tells her that Shu has been shaving away his life in order to find what happened in the mines that day. Later that day in a cop car, Miles and Mikami are having a discussion about Miles having been Shu's parent for a while back in the past. Miles informs him that he was taking care of Shu for a year while his daughter was sick and his wife was recovering from fatigue. Mikami shows him a picture of the guy at the cafe shop that Shu and Aino suspect to be the mastermind named Junya. They arrive at the place where Junya is supposed to be staying and make their way towards his apartment. Mikami knocks on the door, stating that it's the police. He opens the door with Miles and walks into the room where they see Junya killed on the other side of the room. Miles tells him to look towards the wall where the killer wrote one more person on it. Later that night when it's raining, Shu visits Aino at the warehouse. Shu tells Ayano a secret that he's never told anyone in the past. Tells her that his sister Kana might be still alive because of the dream he had of her since the first time 3 years ago. He tells her that the dream started to happen when he left her company. She confesses her feelings to them and they have a good night. During the night, the demon emerges from the water, slashing the bed. Kisara comes from behind and battles her fiercely. She sees Ayano hiding and headbutts her. In tears, she tells her to stop worrying and to let her and Shu handle it. Kisara confronts Shu and he gives her powers to be stronger. Kisara and the demon clash head on. He throws a bullet at the demon before she flees and Kisara slashes her, slaying the demon. The next day, Mikami approaches Shu at the park. He thanks him for his work against the demon last night and the case will be closed for now. Mikami tells him that the enemy made a critical mistake and that the weapon used on Junya did not contain demonic powers. He gets up and informs them that the suspects have been narrowed down in his head and that the information Shu has been given is working with the demon's will. In the city where the casino was destroyed, a lady in a nun outfit approaches the building. She pulls out a photo of where the location of Kisara was seen. At Shu's apartment, Ayano is cleaning the entire area. She scolds Shu for not having a clean apartment, but he brushes it off. Shu asks Ayano where Kisara has been, but she has no clue either. Ayano wants to know if he would like to join her at the auction, but he denies it, saying that he has more important stuff to do. He gets a mysterious sales pitch on his phone. Later that night when it's raining, Kisara is under the bridge where Ayano was reading the messages on her phone from Shu. She recalls in a frozen wasteland in a cave being approached by Shu and having him remove the blade from her. Kisara awakens and pins Shu against a part of the cave. He tells her that all he wants is her power and her shell breaks a part of her face. On her phone, she gets a notification on Ayano's post being with Shu and throws the phone across the ground. The next day, Shu is on a train texting the salesman but deletes it. He arrives at the train station and takes a seat on the bench. He arrives behind him covered up, telling him not to move. Shu asks the strange man who he is and why is he giving important information. The person tells him if he wants the answers to rummage through the trash can next to him. From the trash can, he grabs a device showing the justice guy being beaten by the girl in the nun outfit, also concluding the footage being 30 minutes ago. The person disappears from the bench and starts walking into a crowd of people. Shu follows after the person, but they break through a paper wall and recovers it with paper, losing Shu. At the auction, Shu wants to know more information on the nun and what her goal is. He asks Akano what the Celestial Abbey is and if they're a dangerous group of people. He apologizes and says that he doesn't remember much about it. She tells him that they are a group of people that originated in Europe to hold equality among everyone. She goes on to say that Kisara is a demon and will be a target since she isn't human. Later in the night at the headquarters, the nun takes out the guards and gains access to the top floor. Akano leaves the room and notices the nun approaching her. She gets right to the chase, throwing the photo of Kisara at the casino and demanding to know where she's at. Akano denies these claims, but the nun knows, but before striking, Ayano shoots out a window and climbs in behind them. As they are fighting, the nun asks Ayano if there's any resemblance to Shu and she blushes. She reveals that she stole Ayano's phone and flees on her way to Shu's place. While Shu is walking home from his shopping trip, he gets a call from Ayano telling him to stay away from his apartment. As she is talking, the door from his apartment breaks out, Shu falling to the ground. The girl tries kicking him, but he dodges. She kicks his gun away and they have a standoff face to face. They engage in physical combat and the nun pins Shu to the ground. On the ground, she asks him that the last time that they met was 3 years ago and Shu now remembers who she is. Kisara comes to the rescue, saving Shu from the nun for now. If you guys like what you saw, be sure to subscribe, like the video, and we'll see you in the next video. Hope you guys have a great day. Peace.